Welcome to the Defend Stages weekly Threat Insights group discussion. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm going to start off with the first item on our agenda from previous discussions. Matt, will you go ahead and verbalize your question? I know it's been asked a couple of times in Slack, but it doesn't hurt to ask again.
Yes, so I was just curious. I know that on the secure side, there are a lot of conversations that have been going on for the last several months on improving the common reporting formats, but it's not, they all don't seem to be in the same place at the same time. So I was curious if anyone was aware of if we were yet pulling in this new, I say ID field, that is actually labeled ID as a replacement for the CVE field in the common report format. Just trying to see if that's something that we already did, because I know DAST is having a lot of discussions about whether or not they can move forward with that change, if it's going to break anything in the new standalone vulnerability dashboard views.
So Matt, my first question is that the issue you linked is closed.
Oh no.
And they have opened up a new issue. So I'm not sure if it actually changes the core question or not. It still looks like it's based on a unique identifier, a ZAP plugin ID. So just calling that out. I don't know if anyone else had a chance. I saw Jonathan, you put little eyeballs on this one earlier. Did you have a chance to look at this at all?
I started looking into it and I did not get any further than starting.
Gotcha. Would you
Craig's
be able
in
to?
time zone. I can reach out to Craig today if he helps.
So to dig in more for the change in direction based on them closing this? Sorry, Tiago.
Well, my goal would be to answer Matt's question, but if there's something else a bit more technical that Jonathan was going to do, maybe I shouldn't have volunteered.
I was just going to dig into the code a little bit to see what we're actually calling.
That could be easier.
It should be pretty straightforward. The old common report format had a field called CVE, which I believe was at the top level of the JSON structure. And that's what we're using as an identifier. And it would be renamed to just ID now. That's kind of the core of the question.
Yeah, I'll definitely finish looking into that too.
Cool.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm going to put an action item for you on this agenda. And then the other item, which is, was there anything else on that one, Matt? Is that Jonathan will sync up if there's any clarifications on what the question is or back and forth there with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was more curious than anything to help answer that for the DAST team. But just in general, this is kind of an ongoing challenge we'll have where the scanner teams have need to put more or different information in the JSON report formats, and we'll have to coordinate updating the dashboards to consume.
Cool. I know we only have Aviel here, I think, from the secure team right now, and I don't think she's somebody that's, I don't know, Aviel, correct me if I'm wrong, very involved in that discussion.
No, I don't really have context on it.
Okay. I love your background right now, by the way.
This is Aviel's ghost is what it looks like.
No, you do. It's totally creepy in a good way. Okay, so the second topic, this has come up a number of times. I think it was 12.8 or 12.9. Jonathan created this demo, this web goat project for us. It's worked and then it stopped working and now it's not working. And Sam Kerr had a similar production project that has pipelines and vulnerabilities resulting from them. But we're not able to load the dashboards from any of them. So it would be great to get to do some end-to-end testing and be able to see this in production and be able to share it with, you know, customers and other people. Our original diagnosis was that the WebGoat project had no scan results, so it was really confusing when I ran the export report download and saw a bunch of results there. And also I can see that the job's running. So if somebody, Aviel, I know that at one point we had a MR around the feature flags that were being used in the GraphQL on the dashboard, and I wasn't sure if that got closed out because we are confident that we are going to be launching with 12.10, or if there's something else going on there.
It's the first one.
Okay.
So that was getting it, the GraphQL stuff working with a project scoped feature flag was a lot of work. And at the time, I closed the MR because I thought that within a few days, we would be defaulting the feature flags to true, and it would become irrelevant anyway, so why do the work?
Yeah.
That didn't end up happening, so we're still stuck with this issue. The quickest solution is to just remove the feature flags from the GraphQL entirely and count on the feature flag used on the front end to turn it on or off for projects, and that should work just fine. The only caveat is it means that the fields will be open to the public to consume from our GraphQL API. I don't think that's a big risk. I don't think anyone's going to really build a whole lot of architecture over those fields, and I also don't think they're going to change very much, at least for now. So I think it's fine to remove it, and I'm happy to be the one to do that.
I mean, I had actually, when I had defaulted everything to true, I had yanked that stuff out, like Abigail said. And so even if we had to set everything back to false, we still would have had the feature flag stuff yanked out of the GraphQL. I agree, you know, pulling it out of the GraphQL, I don't think it's going to be a too big a deal. That would get us to where we need to be, where we can actually see everything.
Do you need me to create an issue to represent that, Aviel? Do you want to take this one that is in the agenda and was shared in Slack and sort of repurpose that to track that removal of the feature flag code from the GraphQL side?
Yeah, I can use that one.
All right, thank you very much. Does anyone else have any other items that they wanted to talk about today? Besides this kid behind me who really wants my attention. Sorry. All right.
Let
Well,
her
Devari,
ask a question.
I know, right? I feel like she should contribute. I should assign an action item to her or something. So next week, Matt was planning on definitely having this meeting because we're going to have a couple of items that we're going to want to discuss for planning breakdown, looking forward to 13.1. Correct, Matt?
Yes, I think the main ones are going to be, if anyone hasn't heard about it yet, there is a company-wide push to identify so-called North Star metrics for all the stages, which is basically coming down to what are the things that we want to track that we think are most important to show adoption and usage for each stage. So I am going to be working on those for next week.
Okay, and we'll make sure that they get added to the agenda before the end of the week so folks have time to review them ahead of time.
So many humans in your room, Lindsay.
I know, I gotta go. This is just too much.
Have a good
All
one.
right, thanks everyone. We'll talk soon.
Well.
Bye.